Hey there, Wall Street winners. This video is about the AI revolution. This is an upcoming change that's already underway. It started a few years ago, and we're only starting to enter this new revolution or this new phase. So, we're going to see a lot of changes, and we've already seen some of those start. With the implementation of tariffs on and before Liberation Day and the announcement of tariffs, President Trump has come out and said that the US needs to manufacture more semiconductors in the US. They need to do that for national security reasons so that they have these available to them for both commercial and military uses. He's also come out and said they need more energy to power the data centers that these AI and other semiconductors and server systems, networking equipment will go into. So we've seen a number of executive orders come out around this, and we've seen a lot of discussions with corporate leaders taking a different tact than previous administrations, where in previous administrations, we saw presidents and other members of the administration provide incentives through things like the CHIPS Act to get companies to move production to the US and build manufacturing facilities. But with the Trump administration, we're seeing a different tact. We're seeing the use of tariffs, more of a threat, whereby if manufacturing doesn't occur in the US, then any systems, any chips coming in will be subject to a tariff, the percentage of that to be determined, and probably based on the country of origin. But that tariff will increase the cost to the US companies buying those and to, in the end, the US consumer who will eventually pay for that. But the tact is working, and he's been able to negotiate a number of different deals and get a number of different semiconductor companies to begin the process of developing and onshoring the manufacturing of semiconductors in the US. Now comes the challenge with power. And what we've heard him say on multiple occasions is that he is going to sign, and he has signed, an executive order for beautiful, clean coal. He's told his administration and the people in it that if they're going to use the word coal, they have to use the words beautiful and clean in front of it so that they can mislead the public into believing that it is a clean source of energy, which we can clearly see from the video. It looks very clean. So the US has begun burning coal like India and China, where the environment is not really anywhere close to being a priority. And we can tell by visiting either of those countries and breathing the air over there. But that is the way that this president has decided to try to ramp up the energy required for supporting these very power intensive data centers, and by primarily supporting his constituents in West Virginia and other coal mining districts. We're also starting to see the fallout in terms of job cuts. And this is going to have an economic impact going forward that will be positive in the long run in terms of efficiencies, but it will be negative in the short term. And when combined with increased prices and inflation due to the tariffs that have been recently implemented, paused, and likely to be re-implemented shortly, we're going to see the US likely enter a recession and period of stagflation. But we're already seeing announcements from companies like Microsoft, and the hardest hit employees there are the coders due to the rising costs of AI. But Microsoft's not alone, and it's not just subject to tech companies that are starting to see the benefits of AI, which will likely lead to layoffs of their staff. Intuit, Expedia, Coca-Cola, and Palantir. Now, the majority of these companies are in the technology sector, but these companies are seeing the benefits of AI with faster efficiencies and more automation and greater productivity. So they're able to do more with less people. With Microsoft, they're now starting to see that about 30% of their new code can be generated by AI as opposed to having to be written by a software engineer. So those are huge enhancements. We're also seeing benefits, and we've heard through earnings reports from companies like Walmart in the retail sector, where they've implemented AI and are already starting to achieve efficiencies that will help them to offset some of the tariff costs and yet not cause a huge decline in their profitability. In fact, the goal, obviously, for a Walmart or a retailer would be to leverage the efficiencies of AI to grow their profit margins. If we talk about where to invest with this revolution, there's really three areas. You want to think about investing in companies that are implementing AI and that are benefiting from the efficiencies of AI. And we've mentioned some of those, not an exhaustive list, but certainly a starting point for you to start doing your research. You can also start to look at investing in companies that are making the AI chips or designing the AI chips, companies like NVIDIA and ARM and Broadcom and many others out there in that sector, as well as networking equipment and cybersecurity services and software and infrastructure from a variety of companies. Palo Alto being one of them, Cloudflare being another one, and many more that fit within that space. Networking companies, data center companies, utilities like Vistra that are providing the power to support these massive data centers. And then finally, investing in yourself, in learning, understanding, and using the AI tools to increase the value you provide in your job or whatever it is that you're working on. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a like and a comment if there's something else you'd like to see. And we'll be providing you with some insight into the market narrative and what's going on from a Wall Street discussion and narrative perspective, providing you some tips and tricks and things that you can do to grow your money and your investments. Good luck in your trades. We'll talk to you again soon.